All right, let's do another layout. This is going to be a 2-page layout from the kits that I put together. The Variety of Kits is the name of that video. This sheet, I had used it to put stickers on, in the page kits, and I thought it was going to work perfectly because the tape came off it so easily with the dies that it came with, but it didn't work so well. So I struggle here a bit. I go ahead and get them off and set them on a block here at the beginning, and a couple of them separate a little. It's not as easy release as I thought it was going to be. So that's going in the trash. All right, I have several pictures. I think it's 6 pictures from an event at my daughter's preschool. It was an international day, and her class did Japan. So we had all sorts of Japanese food and little bits of sushi and things like that for them to try. And parents and grandparents were invited. So here, sorry about that. I had to cough. Decided not to do it on the audio. So I'm just looking at what I want to do for the layout, and I think what I settle on is I do want the stripes. I'll put those at the top and bottom as if it were behind this sort of starburst paper. I'm going to cut the starburst paper at 6 inches so that I can have a block going across both pages. And then I believe that I cut the stripes at about 2.5 inches. And then I will do 5 inches of it on one side of the paper and 7 inches on the other side of the page layout. So here I'm just trying to lay out and figure out how I want the photos. I'm going to do the eating photos and parental photos on the right side, and then the table from their classroom, the display from their classroom, and then a couple of friends on the left-hand side. And I'm going to be able to cut most of these pictures down to, I think I got them, quite a few of them, to 4x4, and then some of the other ones smaller, but more like 4x5, I think it was, or 3.5x5, I think is where I ended up. So I've cut all the strips. I went with a 1-inch space on the right and I think 2 inches on the left, just so that it's a little asymmetrical. And I decided to use this template to stencil to add some ink. So I had marked with pencil where the papers come so that this could just extend out. I didn't worry about where the photos would sit. I knew they would cover some of the inking, some of the multimedia, but I was okay with that. So and I don't want everything to look super symmetrical. So I'm making the 2 different sides slightly different, but still extending out from the corners where the paper goes. And trying to make sure that it doesn't look too square. And then here I decide that I want to add a little bit more inking. It's easy enough to line this up and then just add a bit more ink. And I'm putting this right in the middle of the page. And then this side is the 5 inches. And I did ink all of the paper components. And I'm just using that silicone mat to line up the papers in the center. And then this side is 7 inches. And then looking at it, I think rather than having 4, I want to add another area of ink, and so I'm just going to add that up to this upper corner. And I like that a lot better. It gives it more balance. Even though it's not symmetrical, it still gives it balance. All right, so I have a few different mats. Unfortunately, I was short 1 mat piece, so you'll see what I end up doing there. I used 2 remnants of 2 different colors of paper and just sort of stack those behind the last photo. So I did red, and those are in sort of opposite corners on pictures. And then I have these blue mats, and I did look to see if I had another one like this, and I didn't. These are the only 2 I had, and the photos are too big to fit 2 on a single mat sheet, so forced me to be a little creative, and that's okay too. So I'm pretty happy with the layout. I want to leave room for the title there. And then this last one is the one where I'm like, well, it's the only picture without a mat, so what if I add that one, and then what if I just add both? So that's what I end up doing. I think it takes me a little while to get there. So ready to commit. Yeah, I'm trying this other piece of paper. Will that work? No, it was too light. Can I piece those 2 together? No, that will look weird. So this is what I end up with. And it does not look bad. I probably could have used a 3rd piece of paper, but I didn't have one. Then I realized in order to help blend those 2 pieces of paper together, I wanted to ink them. So I go back and ink the other photo mats as well. And I do offset them so that it's clear I know they aren't matched papers. All right, so there's the basics, and it's ready. It's time to embellish. So I've pulled out some old Creative Memories letters, and I'm going to write Exploring Japan for the title, and I'm using these blue glitter thickers from Chamel's Reasons to Smile. It is a slightly different blue, but because of that, it really pops, and I think it looks really good. So that's the title done. I have this one last piece of the matting, and I'm going to turn it into a journal box. I have a couple of little stickers. This is a pagoda. This does not end up here. This is where I start with it, and then I change my mind about 4 times. And it's just a little sticker that says school is cool. So I've gone and die cut, and it's like a ticket shape rather than a tag. I thought about doing a tag, but I just did a ticket shape. And then I'm going to build a little embellishment cluster out of some of the travel related stickers that I pulled and ephemera. I really don't pop anything up on this page. It doesn't need it. You know, I don't have so many layers that it needs the extra dimension and shadowing and stuff. But I am proud that I actually used mixed media, because that is, I'm not always that comfortable doing that. I'm always worried I'm going to ruin it. But I was really happy with how it came out in this instance. So just working on this and trying to make sure I have, you know, not too many words in each cluster. I'm going to fussy cut this passport out rather than use the whole piece of ephemera. It said, I think it said, travel and explore. We were exploring, but we weren't really traveling. But the kids did have little passports that they could get in each room. And I'm happy with the way that came out, that it's sort of sticking out the side, sort of extending that imaging. And then this is one of those locator signpost things. So that's a cute little embellishment cluster. And then I have this, and it's, you know, airmail, kind of airmail stripes. So I like that. And it's reds and blues, so it sort of goes with it. And I just tucked it under, and it looks like a cute little scallop. So now I'll have an extra one that I want to place. And I think about putting it down here, but then that's sort of stretching things to different locations. So I decide to just add it up here. Move those things around just a little bit. And it helps finish off that embellishment cluster as well. Some of the things I had were just very blue, so it was getting a little too tone on tone. This one little flag says explore, and the reason it worked is because I extended it out and I put it on that piece of white ephemera. So here I'm looking at enamel dots, and I do have some that might work. And then I changed my mind. I'm like, no, let's look at our buttons and see if we have buttons. Because this occurred in 2010, and we were still scrapbooking with a lot of buttons back then. So I pulled out, through the magic of television, some blue, red, and clear little sparkly buttons. And I'm going to use those instead of enamel dots. And I'm going to add them on either side of the title, and then 3 in each of the other 2 upper clusters. And I just use micro glue dots to stick buttons down. I decided not to put twine or anything through these buttons. I didn't think it really needed it. I'm really just using them like enamel dots. All right, and it's time for some close-ups. Please give this video a thumbs up and come back, subscribe, come back for more pages, page kit creation, cards, and hauls. Thanks a lot, you guys.